Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. Market bell. A little bit late, but better late than never. Today, let's talk about Goldman Sachs. Are they connected to FTX at all? Because now I'm hearing they're shopping for distressed companies. And I started digging around. This is not the first time. This is not the first time they have come in to try to swoop distressed companies. So let's take a look at this connection to FTX and see if we can find something. And also, let's talk about other things that's going on in the world of crypto today. So welcome, guys. Good morning. Bitcoin is still hanging there at 17,000. There's a few stuff I want to talk about today. But let's just get started with this. I saw this headline, and it got me thinking. So today, one of the top executives from Goldman Sachs says they're looking to buy distressed crypto firms after the FTX collapse. Okay, so this executive, not the CEO, David Solomon, but Matthew McDermott said that the firm is ready doing due diligence on crypto firms. And hey, you know, sounds great. Buy things when they are low, right? Normally, I would say, yeah, that's the right way to do it. You want to buy. You want to buy when things are low, right? That's what the big boys do, and it sounds legit. But then it got me thinking, didn't I read about this connection not too long ago? And I think a lot of people forgot about the fact that, so the CEO, David Solomon, and Sam Bankman-Fried did meet back in April. In fact, David Solomon even flew out to the Bahamas, and they had a good chat in that $35 million mansion that SBF still is living in. And they talked a lot about regulators, about the CFTC, about how to push things forward. And remember the SBF bill? Remember that bill? Well, you know what? Goldman Sachs was advising FTX about that. Because back then, FTX was valued at $32 billion. Seemed like they were on top of the world. Okay? And FTX wanted to go even more into commodities trading, futures trading, right? They were talking with the CFTC already. And of course, SBF was also working on that bill, which basically gave FTX more special treatment and gave more authority to really centralize exchanges and really try to kill DeFi, right? And that bill is still swirling around. But the two definitely hashed it out. So what happened to due diligence back then, right? It seemed like back then when Goldman, you know, they were desperate to get in, I guess. They just thought, hey, let's just partner up with the biggest crypto company, it seems like, in the world. But that obviously didn't pan out. But still, it makes me wonder. What did they really talk about? But the connection doesn't just stop with SBF, though. So a lot of you guys know that Caroline, well, both SBF and Caroline Ellison, both their parents are like well-established people within the financial industry, let's just say. You know, Caroline's father, Glenn Ellison, who taught at MIT, of course, he has that connection with Gary Gensler. So you could see one was working with the CFTC and then one was working the SEC. This is how like they thought they could dominate the world, and they're all connected. So Glenn Ellison, MIT professor, you know, he definitely had a lot of chat with Gary while Gary was there. But also, you look at this picture. This is Gary Ellison on the left side here. And you know who that guy, the other guy is? Well, he's a top lawyer from Goldman Sachs. Okay, so there's also definitely a connection there. Goldman definitely wanted to get in. And plus, they may have known a lot of the stuff that was happening already. And they were all colluding, trying to make something happen. I don't know at this point. It definitely seems like they're all connected in some way. So I'm going to keep digging into this because I don't think people have paid enough attention to this. And also, you know, I mentioned about distressed companies, right? It's kind of weird also because earlier this year, it was also reported that Goldman Sachs was trying to buy Celsius. Like, of all companies, they wanted to buy Celsius, and they could still be bidding for Celsius, right? So again, I haven't dug enough into if there's any connection between Alex Schmisinski and Goldman, right? But it seems like Goldman has been behind the scenes, maybe pretending like they're guiding these companies, but really guiding them to the ground. And I do think there's some kind of connection there that I'm going to keep digging into. But I just wanted to kind of connect the dots a little bit for you guys because let's not forget that Goldman Sachs talked with SBF, specifically their CEO, David Solomon himself, not even like an executive, not even a lower level person. The top dog, the CEO of Goldman Sachs, actually met with SBF, and they planned out a lot of stuff. Obviously, none of it has come true, but now they're looking at, well, let's just go ahead and buy everything. So something wrong there. All right, so I did want to lead off with that. What else is going on today? Well, there's, of course, a lot of stuff going on. As for Bitcoin, there are still a lot of market researchers, a lot of analysts, a lot of gurus, that are making predictions. We're nearing the end of the year. We still have some time. It's still the first week of December, so it's not too late to see a Santa rally, but many are already guessing what's going to come in 2023. Well, at least according to this person, they're thinking that this is what's going to happen. So this has to do with the rate hike. So back in 2020, when Bitcoin had that pandemic drop, the COVID drop, right? Guess what also dropped at that time? Rates dropped. Rates dropped basically to zero. And whenever the Fed fund rate drops, that means everything starts dropping in terms of anything that has a rate, right? The prime rate for mortgages goes down. Lending rates go down, credit card rates goes down, everything goes down, right? So it spurs up the economy. And guess what happened with Bitcoin afterwards? It just started skyrocketing. And not just Bitcoin, but also equities in general, right? So that is what's anticipated in 2023. As these rate hikes start peaking, many are predicting that the Fed will have to truly pivot and start cutting again. And whenever again, the rate is cut, usually that means good things. So this researcher thinks that in 2023, at least the second half of 23, could be tremendous, and we could see a tremendous rise back up. Maybe not to all-time high, but pretty substantial run. And I do agree. I do think 2023, not the first half, 2023's second half is going to be quite good. Now, some people disagree because they think that recession will definitely be much worse in 2023. I just don't see that at this point. I do think that we will recover. I think the U.S. economy is definitely still strong, despite how weak it looks right now. And it could get weaker, but overall, the U.S. economy is still quite strong, especially compared to some of the other nations around the world, like countries in Europe and like countries in Asia. They're just not doing nearly as well. So want to start out with that. Also looking at Bitcoin, if you look at the last 5 years, okay, you look at percentage supply, last active within the last 5 years, 25% have not moved. That's an enormous amount. If you go to 1 year, if you just short into 1 year, we're talking about 67%. Okay, so bottom line is the number of holders, the ones that are holding, just are not going away. Okay, and out of the circulating supply that we have right now, right around 19-something million, very little of it is actually being circulated. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It seems like, oh, there's so many Bitcoins around. No, there isn't. There actually isn't. There's not enough Bitcoin right now for all the millionaires out there in the world. So think about that. Even if every millionaire out in the world wanted to buy one Bitcoin, they couldn't, because there's just not enough. There's so many that's just hoarded or stocked away in cold wallets. So interesting fact. Also 2017's peak, right? We're a little bit below that. We had a blow off top in 2017. We're a little bit below that, but if you look at what happened prior, okay, in 2015, 2016, yeah, it was a little bit below the prior top from 2013. And guess what happened? Right? We're looking at the same situation. So, yeah, don't ignore that. And then this is also interesting. A lot of you guys do follow like the DXY, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, right? There's definitely a correlation. And we're all trying to decouple. We're waiting for the day for Bitcoin to decouple away from these legacy markets and assets, right? But here's the thing. If you look at it right now, the correlation has kind of broken. You know why? Because of FTX. If we didn't have FTX, seeing how the DXY is coming down and seeing how NASDAQ and S&P is actually going up, Bitcoin should actually be valued way higher than where it is now. It should be around between 20 and 25,000, because that's where we were. We were just there before the FTX collapse. But you know what? Things happen. Shit happens, right? What does that mean? Well, that means we're just presented with a better buying opportunity right now. We know that Bitcoin's going to go up. The scarcity factor is definitely in play. There's not that many Bitcoin out there, and the demand is still increasing, right? So don't let shenanigans like FTX scare you out in a market. It's just a matter of time we reverse and things get better, and we will get past this. We always do. We always do. All right. What else is going on today? Let's see. As for some crypto stuff, I saw this, a controversial proposal from SushiSwap. SushiSwap had they had such a bad year in 2022. I mean, there's so much stuff happening. They almost went under, and then someone had to come in and rescue them. And there was just a lot of bad stuff with Sushi. But anyways, they're out of money again. So now they're proposing to, right now they take about 10% of the rewards, which is X Sushi, and they keep that in the treasury and they give out 90%. Now they want to propose to change that to 100% of the X Sushi will go to the treasury wallet for at least a year, because they are out of money. So whenever you hear like a DEX make a proposal like that, first of all, no one's going to agree to that, because no one wants to go from earning rewards to no rewards at all. So then what's the point of holding on to the token, right? And second of all, when you hear about a project really struggle with money, that means, they're not good with money management. So I don't know what's going to happen with Sushi, but there's definitely some outrage, some controversy once again with it. This is great. Strike, which is a payment company utilizing Lightning Network, they're enabling payments to 3 African countries. And, they just continue to grow. And they're the only player in the game that really utilizes Lightning Network in this capacity. Others have started chiming in, started dabbing with Lightning Network, but Strike is the one that's on top of it. They kind of pioneered it, and they're moving forward. So good for them. Good for them. GameStop is cutting more staff, so I guess all the meme stock traders didn't really help them a whole lot. Maybe a little bit. But now they are cutting staff, including crypto wallet engineers, which unfortunately is not a good thing. GameStop also getting involved with NFTs, involved with Loopring and Immutable X, and the NFT marketplace. I don't hear anyone talk about it, so I don't know if that did anything for them at all. But yeah, not looking good for them. What else is there? I did see this. TSMC is upping their investment in Arizona, so they are planning on building a second chip plant in the U.S. Remember earlier this year, how Pelosi visited Taiwan, and everyone thought, what the hell was she doing? Why was she going there? This is the reason why. Because she wanted to make sure that TSMC was going to continue to build their plant in Arizona, and now they're building a second plant. Okay, and TSMC, if you're not familiar, they're one of the biggest semiconductor companies in the world. And why we have all these supply chain issues with like cars and stuff like that, it's because of chips. Chips are very, very hard to come by these days for some reason. But having chip plants built in the U.S., employing American workers, right, will only strengthen our capacity, our supply. And, you know, the chips go from cars to computers to mobile phones. I mean, to everything that you were using today uses these semiconductor chips. So I think this is going to be pretty good. Pretty good. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, Michael Saylor commenting, blast SBF. I don't think anyone finds this to be a surprise. And also, CZ is blasting SBF as one of the greatest fraudsters in history. Again, no surprise. There's no one coming to SBF's defense at this point. So I don't think any of these these blasts are a surprise anymore. But I do think there's an interesting tie with Goldman, though. I do think there's something going on there. So got to keep digging and see what that may be. All right. As for Bitcoin, still 17K. 17K, despite the market. Yesterday, there was a big sell-off in the U.S. markets. Today, not a big sell-off, but still red. Still red. So tech is selling off. You can see NASDAQ down about 70.71%, but Bitcoin is still holding strong. It's just a matter of time. We see that push back up. So stay strong, my friends. All right, let's do some Q&A. Daniel, no problem. Shoot, I just realized I didn't start my Rumble stream. Shoot. I ran out of time today. But I know a lot of you guys start watching me on Rumble, so I need to be more consistent with that. What do you think about Yori wallet for ADA staking? It's a good browser-based wallet. There's a couple wallets. Yori, I think, is the easiest. And Deadlist is like a full-blown desktop wallet. I think most people use Yori for staking. But you can also stake directly from Ledger. So that's the good thing. You can stake directly from Ledger, so you're still in control of your crypto. All right, there's some comments I'm not going to repeat. Max, you know me too well. Send you an NFT hero. I hope you like it. Well, thank you. I'll check it out later. Is it safe to stake via Ledger? Is it like native? Yes, it's much safer to stake directly from Ledger because you are still in control of your crypto. So it's, yeah. Can Genesis cause another crash? Well, Genesis itself, no. But if DCG goes under, then yes. Or if DCG is forced to sell Grayscale's Bitcoins, then yes. But we're nowhere close to that. Genesis Lending has $1 billion hold they need to patch. They're trying to raise funds for it. DCG, which is the parent company, they're trying to also help them raise funds, and they control Grayscale, and Grayscale All of their Bitcoin is accounted for within Coinbase Wallet, so they're not in trouble. So at this point, no, I don't think so. What do you think about Sonny Lu from VeChain? Good guy. I don't know too much about him, but seems like he has done pretty well so far leading VeChain. Do I play video games? No, Dan, I actually don't. I thought about creating a video game streaming channel, but then I thought, well, I don't really play any games at all, so I can't. Sid Michael, hey, appreciate that. Was it Mt. Gox refund update, creditor deadline details for register and repay payment? Why no one talks about this thing? Because it's been ongoing for like how many years? This repayment thing that people keeps talking about, like you have endless deadlines before before it cuts off, and they keep extending it. I mean, it's just forever. So that's why. Yeah, I played Diablo 2 way too much when I was in college, and I don't plan on getting back into that. Crypto surge? I don't know what questions you're asking, and I don't know if that's true. I've answered your questions before, man. You know, this whole Caroline thing, right? Recently, people took pics of her in New York, wondering if she's going to testify against SBF. Maybe. I don't know. Her parents are definitely well connected with Gary and with Goldman now, it seems like. But SBF's parents are also well connected. But it turns out, well, I don't know what it turns out. But I mean, we'll see. It's going to be a he said, she said kind of thing. And I guess whoever's more connected will win. Luna C is at a risk of collapsing due to zero due to TFL's betrayal. They're not going to support Luna Classic and Terra Station, so people are at risk of losing their coins. Binance could delist too. See, you know what, Dan? I'm not surprised by that because I've always said this. Who still controls Terra? It's Do Kwon, right? So Terra Station, the biggest wallet for Luna, is controlled by Do Kwon. So that does not surprise me at all that there goes stop support of Luna Classic. And if so, there's no wallets, right? It's like, you know, when this whole thing started and you have people really supporting Terra Classic, I'm like, I don't see it going anywhere. There's no support. And then everyone's like, well, but look at the burn and look at the burn. And burn did absolutely nothing. And now you're seeing that Do Kwon doesn't like Terra Classic. Like, he never talks about it, ever. Even when, you know, he forced that stupid fork, you know, you could tell that he does not like Terra Classic because he thinks that's a reflection of his failure, and it is. So, yeah, but hopefully no one in here is really trying to trade or accumulate Luna Classic at this point. Stuart, Open AI ERC gaining a lot of attention. Do you think it will reach top 10 coins by 2023? No, I don't think so. And I'm not familiar with that project, to be honest. But no, I don't think so. It's be in the top 10. Daniel, well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Any new Lego sets? I couldn't help myself when I bought the new Eiffel Tower. It's being shipped, but I have no place to build it, so it's probably going to sit in a box by itself and sitting there for a long time. But it looks awesome. It looks awesome. Why is Toncoin so hyped up? You know what? Toncoin has an interesting history. It was actually created by Telegram, right? And then they had a ICO. They were sued by the SEC, so then they had to refund everyone. And then some developers, I don't know if it's the same developers or other developers, took it over and made it open source, and now they're running again. They renamed it to, well, I think it was always called Toncoin, but I don't know. From there, I don't know if they airdropped it or they still had an ICO overseas. I don't know what happened there, but it was supposed to be Telegram's own native currency. But I do think Telegram is still very heavily involved with them. They just say it's not theirs anymore, but they're still really helping them. But I don't know what you use it for. I have no clue what you're using, what you use Toncoin for. Surge. Well, that's not really a question, but I'm glad you agree. Patrick, take care. Now that your physique is leaning more towards a Brad Pitt and Fight Club, will you be making a house build update video? No, I can't. I want to. I really want to, but I was really addicted to making my house update videos. I mean, it was just really fun. And now I find my days very boring because I don't film about my house, but I still go there and check it out almost every day, and great progress. But I still got to work on my physique. Not quite up to Brad Pitt levels. But Fight Club is an awesome movie. I watched it again the other day. You know, if you think about it, if Fight Club was created during like 2017 or something, 2017 during the last crypto run, right? They would have incorporated crypto, but it was created before crypto. So, but if you think about it, the premise of Fight Club is really to get away from traditional banking and to opt out of the financial system and everything else that we're accustomed to, I guess. Reed, welcome. Welcome. Glad you're here. I think Sol may be on its way to 0 over the next year. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Unfortunately, Sol has dropped to number 15, but I do think there's still a lot of people holding on to Sol. Unfortunately, one of those people is Alameda, who owns like 13% of all circulating supply of Solana. So that's a little scary. It's locked, but they could always try to unlock it. So there is that factor. But Solana definitely got much, much weaker due to the FTX collapse. Can they come back up someday? Yes. Will they be as strong as before? I don't think so, unless drastic things change, and they could. But yeah, I don't think they're going to go to 0. Have you watched Crypto Savvy's video talking about number of bearish patterns? No, I haven't. And I don't really, to be honest, I don't really watch anyone's videos. There's some great content out there. There's some great content creators, right? But I don't really pay attention. I'm not consistent with anyone's videos. Sometimes periodically I'll talk about a few parts here or there, but no, haven't really paid attention to anyone else's videos. As for bearish indicators, I don't know. I don't know. I do know this. We're a lot closer to bottom than we are to top. But there's still many people that's fearing that, hey, we could have another doomsday drop down to 10,000 or down to 5,000. Recently, Standard Chartered said Bitcoin could fall down to 5,000, right? There's always a lot of doomsday predictions left and right. It could happen. It could not happen, right? These are all guesses. So I'd say you just prepare for it. If you're in the game, you just prepare for it as best as you can. Have cash on the side. If something disastrous happens, great. You could buy in, right? You could buy low, cost average down, right? Or you continue to DCA. Regardless if it goes down or up, you continue to DCA. You take the guessing out of it. I mean, that's honestly the only thing you could do. If you try to outsmart the market, if you say, okay, well, for sure it's going to go down, so I'm going to sell off everything and buy back when it's lower, I'll bet you a lot more people have lost more money by trying to outsmart the market than just simply staying put. It happened to me many times. It happened to a lot of people, right, where they think, oh, for sure something's going to happen, so I'm going to make a big move. I'm going to sell now and buy back later, and guess what? The market recovers, and they have to buy back at a higher price, and they end up with less crypto. So, honestly, I think the best thing to do is not panic, continue to hodl, and just continue to DCA. It's really that simple. The strategy doesn't change. Unless you're a trader. Now, if you are a trader, you're not an investor, you want to trade. You're day trading, swing trading, right? Well, then it's a different story. If you're a day trader, you're not even supposed to hold at all. You just day trade. But if you're an investor, don't try to trade. I set up my first mining rig last night for Cadena. I love it. Congrats, Peter. Congrats. John Monroe. Appreciate it. 2 super chats. Do the opposite of Jim Cramer. Yeah, let's not forget Jim Cramer just gave us the biggest bullish indicator yesterday by saying, sell everything, it's going to zero, right? We had a good laugh with that, but he makes declarations like that all the time, unfortunately. Let's see what the U.S. market is doing. U.S. market is not doing too good today either. Yesterday was bad. Today is bad. Let's see what Tesla's doing. Tesla's down another 3%. Tesla's just getting weaker and weaker now. They cannot not build any strength right now. What about Coinbase? Man, Coinbase is having a horrible day. Horrible day. Corey's Adventure. Yeah, that's why I started multi-streaming to Rumble too. Unfortunately, today I forgot. But I'm going to post this video on Rumble. I started dual streaming to both, you know, just in case, to build up the audience base too. Have you heard of the new podcast, Americans PsyOps, about Epstein and others? No, I have not. Why do you think SBF isn't in jail yet? I don't know. I think they're still trying to prove whether or not he knew what he was doing or he was just incompetent, because he's basically doing all these interviews saying that he just didn't know what was going on, that he was incompetent. So I think they have to prove that. Madoff actually just surrendered because he was so guilty. He's like, oh, you know, I'm guilty. But SBF obviously still pretending like he's not guilty. Dan, that's exactly right. Inverse Kramer. Usually will make more money than following what he says. Okay, Ja, I'm not going to comment on it. It happened, but who knows? Coincidence or who did it? Don't know at this point. Genda, appreciate that. All right, guys. So, Goldman. How are they connected? Well, there's definitely some kind of connection there. But for now, we'll just have to wait and see as they try to buy all these distressed companies. Weird. An investment bank trying to buy into crypto firms. There's something going on there. But while we're discovering that, Bitcoin is still looking good. Fundamentals still great. Holder is still looking good. So don't give up, my friends. U.S. market this week has been pretty bad, but Bitcoin has been staying steady, rock solid. So that's what we want to see. And tune in tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.